Hello and welcome back to Belmont Bunch. Today we have another weekly recap. We're talking about the Islanders playing Washington twice and Philly, and we're talking about generally how the team's doing. I am joined by James, as always.
Huzzah! Yes. Let's talk about the games. We're going to try and do it through the lens of, which players are doing really well instead of trying to talk more specifically about the games, I guess, right? So,
Yeah, because the recaps generally get those except for the Bailey goal in the Washington game, and I will forever be shamed.
Yeah, exactly. Tom, you are the 18th most popular Islanders blog/YouTube channel, as we've covered in the early Belmont Bunch lore.
Yeah, with my initials. The 18th most with my initials.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah, 18th would be the highest. Would be too high. Sorry.
Yeah, in general, of course. Yeah, so with the initials TC. So we have integrity. We have a lot of pull in the Isles community.
Oh yeah.
YouTube channel blogs with people that have initials TC.
And yeah, because every time we get close to 200 subs, everybody unsubs.
Somebody unsubscribes. So anyway, let's talk about then the players that were good this week. Mm-hmm. If you don't mind, I'm going to throw a player out there. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to do a Komarov. I think Komarov actually was good this week. Now, Tom, hear me out on this one.
Okay.
He didn't fall down that much. All right. I think he's getting
Still fell down a little bit.
A little bit, of course. You can't expect perfection. He was getting in front of the net a lot. Which is kind of like what we need him to do. Mm-hmm. And I think he's starting to get comfortable playing with Barzy and Eberle. So, it might have been too soon to say that he was immediately not a good fit for the first line.
Or me just saying he's a bad hockey player.
It might have been too soon. How old is he? He's like 30, right? Or is he like 30? Actually, hang on.
He's a little over 30.
Let's see. I'm going to pull up his stats right here. Where'd he go? Komarov. He is 34.
32? 34, really?
But he's 6 foot tall, which is taller than me. So,
all right.
Also, did you notice the way that he takes face-offs?
I'm sure you have. That he really funny.
He puts his face really close to the ice.
It hurt. It hurt me looking at that.
Like, I haven't seen him, I guess, take a face-off in a while, so I was just like, who is that? Because I couldn't even see his numbers, and I was like, is he stretching or is he like?
That guy is so flexible. He must be the fastest skater on the. Oh, it's Leo.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so I actually thought he played really well this week, and it could just be a good week in general, and maybe he'll have a few disappointments in coming weeks, or it could
I'm sure he will.
He's starting to really have chemistry with the first line. So, what do you think?
I think this is probably the best week of hockey he's played with the Islanders. I think getting comfortable is the right phrasing of it, because man, I got to give Trotz a lot of credit, not to take away from Leo, but I saw Dmitry Filipovich, who has a hilarious Twitter account, the other day talking about, or it might have been Dom from The Athletic, but basically joking that the Islanders can put anybody in any like random spot. He was like, the Islanders are currently in first place in the massively competitive East, and they have Leo Komarov playing first line, and they have Matt Martin playing on the power play. Nothing makes sense, and it's just Barry Trotz is unbelievable as a coach. And yeah, I like I said, I don't want to take away credit. Leo Komarov has definitely looked a lot better on that first line. I've noticed good passes from him, which is not a part of his game that I've usually noticed. I feel like the best parts of his game usually are, killing a penalty, getting in somebody's face, basically trying to get somebody off their game a little bit. And this past week, he felt like a legit, actual hockey player who's making passes and making plays. And he had an assist in the Washington game in the first one.
I can pull up
and he was a +4. I know plus minus isn't everything, but I just think I would say that's a really good pick, because also, when are you going to get to pick him again? You don't know if he's ever going to show up on your hot list again. So you got to take advantage.
Exactly.
When he plays a really good week.
That's exactly it. So okay, wait. So that was he was a +4. I guess we had so many goals that it's not hard to imagine.
And
so
we won
I'm just
by
pulling
4.
up that game. So imagine if he scored.
Yeah, hey,
That would have been insane.
I feel like last year, I'm pretty sure like he scored 3 goals and like all of them were empty netters, or 2 of them were empty netters, and 1 was where the puck hit the glass and the goalie was out of the net.
Oh, like
so it was
like
just
a weird
basically
rebound.
an empty net. Yeah, the goalie went out to go fetch the puck, but it didn't go to him and it bounced in front of the net. So it was a tap. It was an empty net.
Yeah.
Unofficially.
So then, who would you say is some of the hot players of the week?
It's like a boring answer, but Barzal had a crazy game against Washington, and this year this is really big. Seeing him progress into not just a playmaker, but also being able to do it himself and score himself.
He went through the 4 capital players.
And we've seen that exact play a couple times this year with him, which to me shows, he's maturing as a finisher. So that's really big. I think in the past, the Isles have, like, one of the worries about Barzal is not getting enough scoring on his wings, and he's kind of taken it upon himself to kind of do some of that himself. And yeah, that's really big to see. Obviously, at the deadline, I'd still like to get a goal scorer if we can, but
I don't think
you got to give credit. Point. Yeah, and you got to give credit to the whole team for making this work. Minus Anders Lee, and with kind of a rotating cast of left wingers on the third line, like Dalcole, Johnston, Bellows, whoever it is, they're finding ways to win, even with some different lineups. So lots of credit all around, but Barzal is my pick for like the standout of this week. I will say, even last night when he didn't grab any points, he made an excellent little area pass.
Just to be clear, we're talking about the Washington game that was on Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
He made an excellent little area pass that Eberle backhanded off the crossbar. So easily he could have had a point there.
Right.
Over the first Washington game. Bo kind of did a lot of the work in that second game, but like Barzal's just been playing some of the best hockey of his career, so gotta give it to him for.
Yeah, that one of the stats that they called out was that the Washington game on last Thursday or I'm already forgetting. Oh my goodness, was Thursday, right? It was,
I think so. Yeah,
last Thursday was a week from when this comes out. Was the first game he had gotten 4 points or more in since his rookie season. Which is, 4 points or more in a game is insane, but
oh yeah.
So, but like he had done that like 3 times in his rookie season or something.
Yeah, twice he had 5 points as a rookie.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
and so
that also part of that comes from that team being an all-out. We're gonna score a ton and give up a ton.
Yeah.
So and think of it like this: that team had first-line center John Tavares, second-line center Matt Barzal. So like John Tavares could have had everything if he had stayed.
Hey, Toronto's doing well, right?
Yeah, well, I was gonna go on a tangent about how I feel like he could be doing really, really well here, but
Tavares.
Yeah, but he had a good first.
Hey, this is an Islanders show, all right? Not a John Tavares show.
Well, I was just to finish. What I was saying is,
I'm gonna let you finish, but
sorry. It's an Islander related player.
No, of course.
But
I mean, in that case, Chara, Big Z is an Islanders related player.
Yeah, but he was an Islander when they had the Fishermen, so yeah. I feel like that's long enough ago. But Tavares, in retrospect, I don't know if they would have been able to afford him. If they ended up paying Barzal the way they did. Obviously,
you never know.
Sorry,
right?
I got stuck on that because we haven't really talked about that on the channel at all. Really,
what,
John
the cat?
Tavares stuff.
Oh,
no, John Tavares stuff.
Dude, I remember when that happened because that was before I was really into hockey. So you were telling me all about it. You're like, the captain, he's not sure what he's gonna do. That was the first year Trotz was the coach, right?
Yeah,
Tavares left as Trotz came in.
They hired Trotz and Lamoriello like a few weeks before Tavares left.
Yeah, and I remember you saying Trotz got on a plane to go to Toronto, I guess where Tavares' family is and stuff, to like talk with him about what he's going to do. And you were like,
yeah, I'm not sure if it was Trotz or Lou. Might have been Lou.
Oh,
But,
okay, yeah, that would probably make more sense.
yeah, but obviously, like we'll never know what they. Well, actually, maybe if they write a tell-all book. But I'd like to really know how those presentations went down, because every team did like a presentation to Tavares on why he should sign with them.
Damn.
And I'm just like curious one day if we ever find out what each team said, because there were a lot of teams in on him. Sorry, I like sidetracked.
No, it's cool. I actually had one more question about that, because I do remember you saying that the attitude of the team shifted, and obviously a lot of things changed, right? The captain left, and new coach, new general manager, and all that stuff, and then a new captain, Anders Lee, right? So, it is interesting to think. Let's assume the big what if Tavares stayed, right? And let's assume also that the cap worked out. Something, whatever, they figured out the cap situation. Yeah. It's no guarantee that there would have been the chemistry there, I guess.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's probably fair to say. Tavares in a Trotz system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to. I'm not going to doubt Trotz's ability as a coach, but I feel like Trotz's system, it doesn't necessarily need great skaters because it's a lot based on positioning, but having Barzal and Bo be able to like use their speed to bail them out sometimes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Tavares doesn't have much speed, so I wonder. I don't know. Tavares is an excellent finisher, so it's probably part of the reason that. It's definitely part of the reason that the team has changed identities. Is they basically went from a high flying offense. They lost their best scorer, so they went, all right, let's figure out how to defend.
Yeah,
and it worked.
And it worked exactly. Like that's probably. Obviously, like Trotz's whole system as well is probably a lot of luck. But anyway, not to daydream about the past. We're in the present. We're we're competing for the cup right now, bro. You know what I mean? The chair moved upstairs again. Anyway,
we're 2 points out of first in the league.
Yeah. Wait, in the league?
Yeah.
Oh, holy crap! Is the Avs are number 1 right now, right?
Well, the Avs are they have a better points percentage. They're tied on points with the Panthers, but the Avs have played 2 fewer games.
Okay.
And so the Avs have played 1 fewer game than us. So they're the best team in the league.
So let's see. So it's just looking at the league, the whole entire standings of all the teams.
Yeah.
So it's Avs, Florida, Carolina, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Washington, then us.
Yep. All within 2 points.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy. I didn't realize we were all that close. This is going to be the wackiest playoffs, I feel like. And I know I mentioned it before, but it's probably going to be exciting, but it's probably going to be crazy.
It's going to be really exciting, but it's also going to be a complete crapshoot.
Right, yeah.
Certain divisions, like the East is going to be a complete, like the 4, whoever finishes as the 4 could definitely win the East. Like all 4 teams in the East will have a shot.
I wanted to bring this up. So my ideal, and this is probably like obvious, but my ideal rankings for the East, by the time of the playoffs. So Islanders number 1, Boston number 4. All right, so we play Boston because we've been doing really well against them. Then Washington and Pittsburgh play each other, and I don't care which order. Probably Washington would be second, but who knows? Pittsburgh's still really good right now.
Yeah.
And then Washington beats Pittsburgh. And then we beat Boston, and then we play Washington with a higher seed in the second round. And so I also need to eat my words. So last week I said I would. At the time, I was more worried about playing Washington in the playoffs than playing Pittsburgh. And so there's a few things to break down there, right? We had only played Washington away at that point. We had 3 games. I think I messed up. I think I said 4 games. But we only had 3 games at that point, and they were all away. So. And the 2 games that we just won were at home.
Yeah.
So if it really just might come down to the coaching, and like having that line pick advantage,
Maybe I definitely think home ice is a huge like the Islanders are 16-1-2 at home this year. They have to be one of the top 2 seeds in the East because it's not like they're horrible on the road, but they're like 500 on the road.
That's pretty bad for like the top 2 team,
Well, no, like I don't know. Let's look at another. Well, actually, unfortunately, I don't think I have it up. I was gonna look.
I have it up right here. Oh, actually, you know what? I am gonna say I'm wrong again. Pittsburgh is 8-10 on the road.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
Well,
they're
here's
even
the
below
thing:
500.
is like
Rangers have the same exact record as us on the road.
well,
That's so weird.
typically like nobody's that great on the road. So like going 500 on the road is perfectly fine, even for like a team that's 25 10 and 4. Like yeah, I mean usually you just like I don't know what it is. There have been years where the Islanders were better on the road than they were at home. But not this year, not even close. They're really good at home.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'll take it though.
Honestly, I have no idea.
It does make me wonder if it is something physical, like if they're really just. I know it sounds weird. I'm not a skater. The last time I skated was I don't even know, probably well over 10 years ago, and I probably just fell down the whole time. I don't know if it really makes a difference in terms of how comfortable you are on the ice. If like you kind of just whatever, something like that. I know that they said the boards aren't as bouncy at the Coliseum and stuff, and whatever little things like that you I guess get used to. But that does make me wonder then next year when we're at Belmont, like if there'll be like a year or so of kind of like a learning period of getting like where there won't be as big of a home ice advantage because I don't know how much the actual ice itself matters.
Yeah, it probably depends on, and I would expect it to be pretty good with the amount of money they're putting into the arena. But if the ice is good, they should be fine. I know in Brooklyn the ice was like pretty bad.
Yeah, that's what everybody said. But who knows? Who knows though? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like who says that?
Yeah, that's one of those things that like you would have to hear directly from a player.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll like no player is gonna like give you an idea of what the advantage is. So yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. Maybe in a year like this, it's just like like every player has superstitions and has like their game day routine.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just a matter of being comfortable in their game day routine at home rather than on the road. In a normal year, the team could like relax while they're on the road and like kind of like see the town a little bit. Yeah. And this year you have to lock yourself up in a hotel room. I don't know. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. That'd be interesting to ask the players.
Yeah. So if any Islanders players are watching this, please, any hockey players at all, ML, AHL, NHL, if you played in like middle school, like let us know. Wait, what's the EHL?
ECHL.
What's that?
I think it's the East Coast Hockey League. It's like below the AHL.
Oh, nice. Yes, please, especially you guys.
Yes.
So anyway, moving on then. Just kind of interesting. Ultimately, I was just saying that I think that Washington. I was more worried about playing Washington in the playoffs just because we hadn't seen as many games with them. But now, at least it seems like we could put up a really good fight. Versus Pittsburgh, it's like even the 2 wins we had against Pittsburgh were like. Yeah, so strenuous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was last week when we talked about this. That's what I was kind of thinking is even like, man, our best games against Pittsburgh were still not fantastic. Like, probably our worst hockey of the year.
Yeah.
So and there's an argument to make that Washington, our first couple games against Washington, well, actually the first one where it was just heartbreaking that last 30-second goal that we gave up. And we did get crushed the second time when we were up 3-0.
Oh my God!
Had the worst period of the year, and that was also both of those games were without Ovi, without Kuznetsov, without Samsonov, and so yeah, at the time that was really scary to think about. And then now somehow with the Capitals at full strength, we're able to beat them a couple times, and yeah, the difference is home ice, but. Also, the Islanders kind of being a different team at this point in the year. There's some guys that have had the time to settle into the role that they've had to, like some guys have had to pick up new roles. Matt Martin's playing on the power play. He looks comfortable.
Dude, he had that great pass to Bo. That wasn't a power play goal, was it?
Yeah.
That was a power play?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he had that great pass.
He got a power play
that was such an amazing play all around. Like, like that. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Like, he might not have thought to do that in the beginning of the year, Yeah,
I think guys at this point, guys are settling in to their roles, and that for Trotz, that you get a lot of kudos for that because, he is fitting square pegs in the round holes and making it work, which is really impressive. And not to give it all to Trotz, but for the players to like show that, like Leo Komarov to have some kind of embarrassing games on the first line, and then like just come back and play really, really well for like a 3-game span, and for Matt Martin to kind of seamlessly kind of start working on the power play is really a good sign of those guys and their work ethics.
Yeah, and so just having you mention those few names of people that we both think are playing well, I also have written down Bo and Brock have been playing really well.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and I mean Bo, I feel like is a little more obvious because he's almost like, I feel like the common almost star player. Like, you know, he's always, I feel like, in the limelight in a similar capacity, but generally a little bit less to Barzal. You know,
Well, yeah, because he's probably the second most explosive skater of the forwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Matt Barzal said that Nick Leddy's faster than him. If they skate like in a straight line, he said that Nick Leddy's faster.
That doesn't surprise me, but at the same time, that is actually kind of surprising.
Yeah,
you know,
I guess Barzal just gets to show it off more often.
Yeah, that makes, especially it is interesting because I can't even skate forward, so it's like skating backwards. You know, like defensemen, you know, like it doesn't look hard, but like I know it's hard.
Yeah. No, it's hard to do it on the level that they do too.
Oh my god,
like,
yeah.
Be skating backwards and then have to like quickly change direction. It's ridiculous.
So then, one more shout out. So the two other, or no wait, I think only one other positive, like actual positive that I have this week, and then we'll go into a few negatives for players, unless you have something else. Is Mayfield is a positive. All right. I don't remember any distinct bad plays he had, but I don't remember any time this week that he whiffed on the puck. And that's like the only problem I've had with him. Or that's the only, but that's been the biggest issue, is like just kind of mishandling the puck in really sensitive situations when he needs to clear it or make a pass, you know, whatever. So what would you say?
I would say generally yes. There was a point in the game last night where I turned to my brother and I said, everybody is playing better tonight. Like everybody on the ice is playing an excellent game,
except Mayfield.
Scott Mayfield. Well, no. I actually singled out Mayfield as well. And I said to my brother, hey, haven't seen him commit a penalty in a little bit, and he's playing a little smarter with Leddy. But he did have one gaffe that we did not, end up, losing on it.
Of course, yeah.
So there was a play before we scored this is the Washington game, the 1-0 Washington game, where the puck is just kind of flown back out through the zone, through the air, back into our zone. And Mayfield is going back. He's the only Islander there. He's going to retrieve the puck, and he starts skating backwards. And the puck is bouncing, and he's kind of just trying to settle it down. But he kind of like lackadaisically just kind of swings a couple times trying to settle it down and misses. And the Caps almost scored off it. Yeah. First of all, Mayfield almost kind of skated backwards into his own goal. And then on top of that, he forced Varlamov to make a good save off of what should have just been a Capitals dump in.
Yeah.
So
I do remember that.
That's the only one that stood out. The good thing is, I think generally, yes, he still had better, more positive moments than that. But man, the Islanders could have paid big time for that goal. If there was a goal.
Yeah, no, that is interesting because it's like after you get after a 1-0 game. You're like the one on Tuesday. I was thinking, man, there was way too many close calls on both sides. So you know what I mean? Like, so it could have easily gone to overtime. You know,
sure,
or
it could have gone. Like either team could have won that game 4-0.
Yeah, I thought I do think the Islanders played a better game overall. Because Eberle hit 2 crossbars, or it wasn't 3, was it?
I think it was 2.
Yeah, I think it was only 2. But like both of them were like
Dobson hit 1.
Oh, and Dobson. Okay, yeah. Like I feel like the Islanders probably still would have come out if those goals had gotten in and Varley had 2, like one big save that I remember in the third was like a cross crease save. That was great. But whatever. So then who are some players then that you think have been maybe underperforming? Maybe. I know this week was overall good. 3 wins.
Yeah. That's a good question because nobody like immediately stuck out in my mind when I first started like kind of thinking about who wasn't that good this week, because like you said, Beauvillier, who hadn't been playing too great, put some goals in the net, started skating a little better. Actually, low-key important part of the game-winning goal last night, Beauvillier dumps it in, gets it himself, cycles it around, turns into a goal.
He does that, and he's done that a few times. Where I don't know, it might not have turned into a goal, but he'll dump it in and then retrieve it himself. Like his forecheck has been intense.
That is one of the best things about him. And I said earlier in the season, even when he wasn't scoring that, if he just continues to do that, I'm happy with that, and he'll eventually get it. And he didn't get any point on that goal. Because the initial shot, I think, was tipped by Josh Bailey. So it ends up being an assist from Pollock and an assist from Bailey. But, that play, I mean, the Islanders don't score there if Beauvillier doesn't, retrieve his own toss in. So really, really good from him. You pointed out before we started filming, Bailey had been kind of invisible, and he scored a big goal in the Washington game to kind of finish that game off. And last night gets his 500th point. Congratulations. So, man, I don't think I have okay. It's only half bad player of the week.
Okay.
So,
wait, that actually works out because I have two, and I was going to say the same thing. Well, I want to hear who you say, though.
Okay. You're probably going to be a little surprised. Okay. So it's actually, I have two guys who played one bad game each.
Okay.
Varley was not good was not great. I'm a little hard on the goalies because we've seen what they can do.
That's like, I love saying this. It's like they screwed up in reverse. Where it's just like they've played so well that you expect such a high standard. So then when they have like not even a terrible game, but just like not a great game, it's almost like a letdown.
That's why for your job you just got to do average.
Yep, it's exactly what I say.
But no,
just coasting.
So but Varley, the first game wasn't especially sharp, and I think I said in the recap, but like I don't think there's like a single goal where I was like, oh, Varley, maybe like an angle on the Daniel Sprong goal, but just he didn't track the puck as well, and again, like you said, that's kind of like being tough on him because his puck tracking has been so good. And then guess what? And this is why I said only half of Varley. Then last night he tracks the puck like a madman, and he looked really good.
Do you think it was him trying to correct? Like he felt like he didn't track the puck?
I think definitely probably that a little bit, and I think he's starting to get a little pressure from Sorokin, with Sorokin playing really well. And this is the best part of a goalie tandem is when the two guys are just, like trying to one up each other constantly, because guess what? Last year in the playoffs, Barry Trotz showed that he's not afraid to use both goalies in a playoff series. We got to see plenty of Greiss and plenty of Varley. So, first of all, both of these guys know that they could see playoff time no matter if they're the starter or not. But they also want it, like the competitive nature of both of these guys is probably like, I want to be the starter in the play, like to start the playoffs at least. And I think that the competition that has been like constantly improving, with Sorokin being 6-0 at the Coliseum and having an 8-game winning streak at one point that got snapped.
It was probably snapped by the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, it was. But he's pushing Varley to be better. They're pushing each other to be better, and it's really good.
And this was also the Flyers game was the Sorokin's second shootout win, I think.
Yeah. He's
pretty great.
Really good in the shootout.
Yeah.
Which is like a weird specific thing that we don't usually talk about as like a...
I guess like when you're not screened, like and the goalie can basically track the puck all the way. Like I feel like that says a lot about how well they could track it and just their reflexes, I guess,
Yeah, and the reflex part, especially for the shootout, is really big. He had a big save against Giroux in the
who was the person that scored the 2 goals to tie up that game.
Yeah, and on to give a little bit of flack to Leo, he kind of lost Giroux on the second one. Or it was like a team
I don't
effort.
remember. No, Leo's the man. I don't remember that happening. No.
Yeah. Mr. Narrative.
Yeah.
But there were 2 Islanders that kind of stared at the puck. I know one of them was Mayfield. Sorry, I know one of them was Komarov, That I think the other was Mayfield, which is really funny because that's like
the two that I highlighted
that we've been. No, well, not that, but like the two guys that I think I've been probably the hardest on this year.
Yeah.
Although I think both kind of made up for that with some of their efforts in the other games.
Mm-hmm.
So,
so you would say Varley not as his best game, I guess, in the first Washington game, and then you said so that's like a half kind of not great.
And the other half for me is actually I think this will just be my pick is Ross.
Okay.
It's probably a little bit harsh because he didn't play a ton of the Philly game because he got hurt early.
Yeah, what happened? I don't even remember what happened with that.
So before the game, they showed he and Samuel Morin of the Flyers.
Yes. Oh, that's
they
right.
They skated by each other in warm-ups.
And they nodded at each other. Yeah. They were like, yeah.
That's one of the funny things about hockey is just like two guys beating the pulp out of each other and then like quietly whispering like good stuff, man.
Yeah. That's what happened between Martin and Chara.
Yeah.
In, the game that wasn't the first Washington game this week, was it? Or was it the week prior?
I want to say I think it was the first game.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, and it was kind of a silly fight. It looked like, but whatever. But at the end, they like patted each other on the back. They're like, all right, good stuff, and then they.
Because a lot of times those types of fights are just like, it's almost like you're just trying to get the team momentum going, or it's out of respect for a teammate that like.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
that's where this fight came from with John. Well, it's a little bit of both because it's funny because Johnston and Morin kind of looked like they agreed to fight before the game. And then during the game, early on, Samuel Morin throws Pajot face first into the boards with a check.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And so that kind of – it's funny that they agreed on it, but then also Samuel Morin throws a hit that Johnston, I'm sure, wasn't happy about. That probably should have been a 5-minute boarding, in my opinion. Interference seems like the wrong call there. The referee screwed up everything on that play because they blew the whistle down. They blew the whistle down before Philly had taken the puck, and the Islanders had a scoring chance. They called it interference when I'm pretty sure it should have been boarding. And then I think that's it. They just took away a scoring chance, and they
those are two big things that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're both still big, but for some reason I thought there was a third thing. But
that's because the third thing is just your disdain for the refs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Have you ever thought about trying to become an NHL ref, Tom? Being one of the most hated people in hockey.
Extremely, extremely difficult. Although at the youth level, I could just yell loose because that's what they do. Whenever the puck's loose, the puck could be at center ice and they'll be like loose, and they're like, "Yeah, I know."
That's what the ref says.
Well, they say it because like when a shot goes on goal and nobody knows where it is, but the ref sees it and he's like loose, loose.
The ref says that in the games.
Yeah, because that's like.
Are they communicating with each other?
No, yelling to the players so that they know it's loose because. If it's a way of communicating so that the players know that the puck is still in play, so they know.
Oh, okay. I guess that's fair. I guess so. Like they know they're because if they're not sure if the ref's going to blow the whistle or not, they know the ref's not going to blow the whistle.
I think it's a way also for the goalie to know you don't have it.
That's interesting because I know this is a total tangent, but because sometimes there's I guess the rule book. I don't know the rule book of hockey, but I guess it says basically. I would imagine it's something like the ref is a part of the stadium or a part of the ice in a sense, where it's like if it hits off his skates or hits off the ref or you bump into the ref, it's like nothing you can do about it. Play continues.
Yeah, there's only one circumstance where that's not true, and if it hits the ref and directly goes into the net, then it's no goal.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's the only. But what you said is accurate for everything else. Yeah.
And so so it's like. While in terms of movement, I feel like that's fair. The refs generally do a pretty good job of staying out of the way, and every now and then it happens, but that's just bound to happen statistically. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, but some of the things with the subjective calls, like icings, I feel like icings this year have been a little all over the place. They won't. As far as I'm aware, I haven't seen any calls where they've called it an icing and it wasn't. It's normally the other way around, where they're letting them slide a little bit easier than I feel like I've seen them called in the past. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's been discussed. Maybe that's been like kind of issued into whatever they've been told to do that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing was with like, early whistles. Like I feel like I've been like a little bit. They've been willing to like blow down plays a little bit quicker than I don't have like as like long of a hockey memory though. So
I don't know. The icing one, I would say, I think the refs. I think the biggest issue with icing calls is actually because it's supposed to be that if the player is going full speed, like that's how the ref's supposed to judge it. Like a player
right.
can't stop purposely skating
and the rule
let
is,
it go for an icing, because if the referee sees that the guy could have made a play on the puck and purposely didn't, then he's going to go no icing.
Right.
But I feel like they haven't been strict enough on that over the last few years. Like players will purposely, they there's an art to like looking like you're skating really hard without skating very fast.
Yeah, that's
true. And the players have perfected that. And I'm surprised that
I think they put their head down and just like look like they're huffing and puffing, but like they're just not taking full strides or something,
Yeah, and I think referees, I think it's more that they don't want it to be like a ticky tack, like it doesn't like they don't
want to stop the play that much.
Basically, I think they just don't like. I don't know. Referees are weird, and this year's even weirder because of the ref that got caught on the hot mic.
That is so weird. Wait, did that happen last week or this past week? That happened, I think, 2 weeks ago.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I think refereeing this year is going to be under a microscope into the playoff, especially in the playoffs, because the Islanders last night got called for an extremely light interference call on Barzal.
I've watched that a few times. I did not see anything. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think I finally saw what they called, and it was a little bit because Rob Taub on Twitter, and I retweeted it, had been showing like Barzal basically just skating forward and the play being blown down. But I actually think it's a little bit earlier than the clip that shows. Barzal just like puts his stick on the Capitals player's like leg momentarily, and that's it. It was still really light, but at least I saw it because I didn't see it at all.
You weren't
originally.
Like, all right, I'm going crazy. Nothing happened.
Yeah, so it made me at least go like, oh, it's still bad.
Yeah,
but and the Capital. Well, the reason I bring that up and makeup calls is after that call, I expected the Islanders to just based on, and this is a problem. Like I shouldn't just expect the Islanders to get a call then. Like, and
that's a good point.
Yeah, like that. If you're calling the game correctly, you shouldn't expect a makeup call. But that's the way we've gotten used to it as hockey fans. Is like, oh, they called 3 straight penalties against the Islanders. Oh, we're gonna get 3 penalties in the third. Don't worry. Like it that's not the way it should be. And I think the hockey guy has talked about this a lot, and I think he makes a good point on.
You mean our closest YouTube competitor, the hockey guy?
It's a close subscriber war.
Yeah, very close. He just has like a K after the numbers in his subscriber count. We just don't have that for some reason. I don't know.
Letters? I don't get it. No, I think he made a good point about like that the NHL, like that system has broken fans into thinking that games, like basically just you having to explain to your friends like, oh, that's not going to get called in the third, but that's going to get called in the first period because the referees are afraid of calling that in the third because they're afraid of it being seen as ticky-tack or deciding the game. Even though, by the way, if you make a call in the first and they score on the power play and it was a bad call, it still affected the game. So they're just looking to avoid big moments of referees in the spotlight. So the refereeing this year, I think I've seen on Twitter people pretty much unilaterally being like, it's been pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I feel like it's been bad for a few years, and it's tough because, like you said, I feel like we don't notice when the refs do a good job of getting
exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah.
I'll give credit to refs on like it's the only sport where like you have to like ride a rail, like jump up to avoid the puck.
Yeah.
When it's going around, when the puck's getting wrapped around
like
the boards.
You're in the play. Guys. It's like other sports are not like that.
Yeah, like I mean, technically, like baseball, you're in foul territory.
Okay.
But
I mean, there's so much room to go around. Yeah. It's like if you're a ref in baseball and you can't figure out where to go to avoid the play, like you're probably not that good.
and First of all, I mean, also we got to give credit that NHL referees are probably the most athletic refs in the world.
I was just thinking that. I've heard that too about NFL refs because they're constantly running up and down the field, I guess. But
I think they tend to be older in the
NFL,
NFL,
yeah. I was actually just thinking that too. But
and skating is like obviously, I think it's just really. I mean, these guys are really good skaters.
Like,
this
like
is so
even
weird.
Like
I never expected to talk about this.
The worst NHL ref skater is probably like still, like probably at least AHL level skating.
Yeah, they're excellent skaters, but like, I guess also like, I used to umpire, and there's like different positions for different situations, and I feel like refs are always along the boards, and that's a scary spot because you could get hit with a clearance. Sometimes you have like a play where Scott Mayfield's not even looking on a penalty kill, where he's just trying to wrap it around the boards and just slap it off the boards. And you're positioned along the boards at all times. And also keep in mind, like, players are constantly, like NHL teams like the Islanders don't allow you to the inside, to the slot area. So you're skating around the outside. Last night, a couple times, I feel like the Islanders skated into a ref, and I was like really annoyed. But it's tough because they, then they have to, I mean, if they're just trying to avoid the player, then they have to skate out of the zone while not missing the play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough. I will give credit that it's one of the harder refereeing jobs there is.
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
So after that weird tangent, thank you for your service, NHL refs.
But you also still suck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't think we're complimenting you.
I mean, I did, but
yeah. But anyway,
we'll see come playoff time.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I hate to continue on this. I do have one more question on that then. Do you think there is a better system that still incorporates human judgment? Because there's been no sport that's shifted to complete video review of any possible, penalty or foul or whatever.
Yeah. There's actually one of the minor leagues in baseball is experimenting with a robo-ump. For home plate.
See, I love that, but at the same time, it's like it almost feels like then it ruins the sport because it's like
it takes some of the human element out of like there's an art. There's part of being a catcher in baseball is the art of framing a pitch, so basically making it look like a strike when it's out of the zone. That just goes away. There's no point in framing a pitch anymore.
Yeah,
because guess what? There's a oh, sorry, my light went out.
Yep.
Because there's a definitive strike zone then if it's a and it's frustrating because sometimes I see this all the time in baseball. Hard 100-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. The ump's just like, ball. Like, what? It feels like sometimes umpires just take a play off where they're just like, I'm going to call a ball in this pitch.
Yeah, he's been having a rough day. I'm going to give the pitcher an extra shot. Or no, the batter an extra shot.
Yeah, it doesn't – it's bad. So, yeah, I mean, like, it's tough. Like, I don't think there's any sport where I would say, like, the refereeing's pretty good in this sport. It's like in FIFA, they're literally paid off.
Oh my god! Yeah,
in certain circumstances. And the MLS
you have to walk that
refs,
back. You don't want FIFA on our doorstep.
Yeah, and the MLS refs who are not FIFA, they're like specific to North America. They're horrible. They're so bad.
Why
it's
are
like
they
a
so
meme for MLS fans.
Why are they so bad?
They're just like, I guess, I don't know. Maybe just because as a country we're not as into soccer, and
just maybe
the ref training isn't as intensive.
That's interesting. But all right,
I think that the training just might not be as intensive.
We have to move on,
and you won't get killed for making the wrong call.
That's true. Okay. Yeah, there's no like life
about
or death.
Every sport.
Yeah. Water polo, the refs they're no. All right. So the last thing that I have written down that I wanted to mention that we discussed is the Islanders are the only team so far, the first team to shut out the Capitals.
Yep.
So that feels great. That feels
good.
Feels good. And then you mentioned something. There is. What were you saying? There's only one team that has not been shut out.
Yeah, there's only one team in the whole NHL that hasn't been shut out.
And I'm gonna guess who that is. I'm gonna take a guess. I'm gonna say Toronto.
No.
The Senators?
It is. How the hell did
Wait,
you
are you
that?
serious? Oh, no, you're kidding, right?
It's the Senators.
Are you? I was going with like the worst possible thing as a joke.
No, I'm gonna.
They have not been shut out.
No,
No.
Man, I'm looking at their schedule. They also lost like 11 in a row at one point this year, and I feel like the Sabres took away from that. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, right. Everybody was so busy looking at the Sabres.
Yeah, they lost exactly 9 in a row.
What's their
So they
schedule?
have not been shut out.
What? That was a total lucky guess.
You got it. It was well done. Yeah. By the way, this is a good segue into what I wanted to talk about next, which is miscellaneous team stats.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah,
our new the segment. Everybody remembers this segment, right? Miscellaneous team stats. We do it every week. Yep. Stop asking questions.
All right. So I am going to maybe. Do you want to have me ask you to guess where the Islanders rank?
Yeah. All right. Let's try that because I'm not gonna have any idea.
All right, so goals for per game. Do you want to take a guess at where out of 31 the Islanders are ranked and what that goals per game number is?
I'll get. Hey, I got to get the standings away from me so I don't cheat.
All right.
All right. So wait, it was goals for per game.
Yes, goals for per game.
I would say we're probably slightly above average, like around 10, around 10 in the league. Because I was thinking like we don't score a ton in every game, you know, but like I know our. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm going
Slightly above average was a very good guess because we are 14th.
Okay.
Literally slightly above average.
average.
So we're averaging 2.95 per game.
Okay, I thought for sure I was going to guess over 3. But
no,
okay.
it was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Actually, we were over 3, and then we only scored 1 in the Washington game.
Oh,
so
all right.
It went down a little bit, but yeah.
But hey, I'm okay with that going down in that game.
Yeah,
because of that game.
Yeah. But you're right on the money with that. So good start.
Okay.
All right. Goals against per game. Where do we?
This
rank?
one I know is just slightly over 2. Last time I saw it. So
And
that's got to
what do
be
you
pretty
think?
good. That's got to be top 5, I would say. I'm gonna go with 5. Number 5.
Okay. So again, you're in the right ballpark. We are third.
Hey.
In the league.
Okay.
2.28. And
okay.
The two teams better than us are. Oh my God! You know, everybody in this region. Oh, it's weird. It's like defense correlates with being a good team. Everybody in this region is an excellent team. Number 1 is Vegas, 2.24. Number 2, Colorado, 2.26. 3 is the Islanders. 4 is...
Wait, sorry. Who were the first 2? I'm sorry.
Vegas and Colorado. So 2 of the best teams in the league.
Okay, yeah.
Right there. And we're within, decimal points of their... And then there's a bit of a jump. Like Carolina is 2.45 and Tampa is 2.46, and that's the top 5. And yeah, we're squarely entrenched in the top 5.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's interesting. Because so on the NHL website, I'm just seeing the total goals against and the total goals for, not the average, which is weird. Is that a stat? What is this? Whatever. I guess not, or at least not. Just I'm sure it's on another page. But okay, so that's good. So yeah. All right.
So far so good for James. Next, we're gonna do power play.
Oh, terrible.
This is a funny.
Wait, I actually did see this stat. The first or second Washington game that we played last week, they showed it. That was the only stat we were worse than the Caps was our special teams. So the power play was around 20-ish%. So that's got to be like, I don't know, like 25.
Again, you're pretty close. So it's 18.9%. And the funny thing about that is,
I didn't think it would be below 20. That's a little worrying now.
Well, I think like 20 is like a benchmark for being a pretty good power play.
Oh, I thought like 25 was like you were like good.
25 is excellent.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see. How many teams are above 25% this year? 5. 5 teams are above 25%.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, then I definitely had that.
Yeah, it's a pretty even balance this year. We're at 18.9. We're 22nd. And that's not like 18.9 is not horrible. Although I will point out that we were like in the month of, I think it was February, we were like 40% for that month on the power play, and ever since we've been like 10%. So it's been like kind of
that's right. Yeah,
we would be worse than 22nd, but we got buoyed by one excellent month on the power play. So
interesting.
That's one of those things where I go, that's kind of a misleading stat because I don't know. were probably worse than that.
Yeah. That the same exact thing happened in the very beginning of the season last year. I remember we had like a 30% power play or something for like a few weeks consistently, and then I also remember you saying like that's going to come back down to earth.
Yeah, it gets figured out pretty quick, and basically when the year ends, nobody like it's going to be rare for a team to be extremely far ahead of 25. Right now, like last year, Edmonton had probably the best power play in the league. This year, Edmonton is 2 again. They're 26.4, which is expectable. Expectable. I don't even know if that's a word. Which is somewhat to be expected when you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and some of the most talented forwards in the league. Carolina has almost a 30% power play.
Damn.
That is unbelievable. 29.8. They have some excellent skilled players.
Wasn't that Boston going into the playoffs last year too?
Yeah, Boston was excellent. And the other thing is Boston also historically has had an excellent penalty kill. So they're just like, that was part of the reason I thought they were going to go really far is in the playoffs. First of all, those penalties are so hard to come by because in the playoffs, the refs swallow the whistles and don't call anything. So you have to take advantage of those chances. And so I weight, special teams really highly when I do my playoff stuff.
Interesting.
And Boston, it worked for 2 rounds, and then they got annihilated. Sorry, it worked for a round, and then they got annihilated by the Lightning.
Yeah, so did we.
We did better than them. They went 5 games. We went 6. We were
okay. Speaking of which, this is totally unrelated. One small thing I wanted to bring up is because I've mentioned it. It's part of my lore that the Varley slide at the end of Game 5 for the Tampa series was my favorite moment in Isles history. My brief memory of Isles history. But Sorokin did a kind of fun thing at the end of the shootout win against Philly. He did like the shotgun, kind of like cocking a shotgun motion with his stick. Yeah. So
sorry, do that again. Sorry, 3 more times. No.
So
I want to make it gifable.
Yeah, no. So I don't know what it is, but I guess it's either because that they're both Russian, so I expect to see no emotion out of them. Like they're like very stoic. I don't know. And
I think it's usually in the NHL, it's kind of the opposite, where the European players seem to have a little more fun with it, and the Canadian ones and the American ones seem to be a little buttoned up.
Yeah, interesting. But I don't know. I find it very. I find it like I don't know, very very exciting when the goalies are visibly excited as well.
Yeah. But, no. It's happy goalies. Happy goalies and angry goalies are actually.
Yeah.
You could find compilations on YouTube.
But anyway, so back to the stats, though. So that was the power play was 18.
Yeah, 18.9.
Okay, all right.
Just like...
So that's 22nd in the league.
Not great. Not one of the worst. Actually, just curious, because I said the best power play is just under 30. The worst power play is Anaheim at 11.5. That is real bad.
So that's almost 1 in 10 will go in.
Yeah, a little over 1 in 10. Not great. Penalty kill.
This one I know...
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Or around 80%. I'm gonna go. I again, this is like a slight. This is from, if I remember correctly, the stat from the first Washington game. So I'm gonna say at the time we were 80-point-something%. And now I'm gonna guess that we're a little bit better.
Yeah, we had 2 kills last night.
So I'm gonna guess 81%.
It's 80.6.
Oh, okay, all right. So
that's pretty good. Yeah, we're 11th in the league. I think last year we were worse, so that's an improvement. I think last year we might have been high 70s, although I guess we're close to that. But
yeah, I don't remember last year. I don't remember.
Me neither. I don't remember anything from last year.
I don't remember was the penalty kill a problem? It was a problem I remember at points, but like in the playoffs, was it a problem? I don't remember.
I don't think it was as much.
Yeah, I feel like I'd remember if it was, but whatever.
Yeah, we weren't giving up a lot of goals in general in the playoffs.
That's true.
And so in penalty kill, the range is Boston is 88.7%. That's unbelievable.
That's insane.
And just a shocking
that means that they let in almost as many goals on their penalty kill as Anaheim gets on their power play.
Yeah. So And by the way, Boston's power play is excellent too. It's 24.1.
Yeah,
So
that's not
again,
surprising.
their special teams are amazing. Although this year, a stark difference is they're not scoring at 5-on-5. So
Hmm.
their goals per game is lower than us. We're a better scoring team than Boston.
So I think aren't we technically a better scoring team than Washington as well?
No, actually, it's a lot closer than I would have thought. Washington is 2.97, so we're
What are we?
0.02 lower. We're 2.95. Huh.
Yeah, okay.
That's a good spot because I
I
would
thought we
not
were
have
definitely
guessed.
higher though. So, but still, I mean, I'm
Oh,
sure the
sorry.
game.
Okay. No, I got them mixed up. 2.97 is their goals against. 3.33 is their goals for. Their goals for is pretty good.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
that's why I was
Wait, so
surprised,
that means
'cause I
that
was
our
wrong.
goals for is just slightly below their goals against,
Yeah, but they allow
which is
a lot more
weird.
goals than
Oh,
us.
yeah. I mean, our goals against was definitely buoyed by that 8-4 game. So,
Our
well, I
goals
guess it
for.
only counts as a 0.5 though.
Wait, what do you mean?
Math. I don't know.
All right.
So never mind.
But here are a couple I won't make you guess. You did a really good job on the guessing, though.
I'm so good at
Um,
guessing. I should be a
shots.
professional guesser.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So I'm looking at shots per game, and the Islanders are the 10th worst in shots per game. They only generate 29 and a half shots a game. The number one team in the league is Colorado with 35.4. So that's interesting, but that's not inconsistent with what the Islanders have been.
yeah.
They tend to value high danger opportunities, and they're not a team that just throws pucks on net, which I actually would prefer them to do that. But
Yes.
there's an argument against it because when you just try to throw pucks to the net, when you kind of panic and just decide, oh, I'll throw it towards the net, and you're a defenseman and it gets blocked, that can turn into an odd man rush the other way because all your forwards are trapped down in the zone now. And yeah, so there's probably a good argument to make that that's part of the reason that Trotz's system doesn't tell its defensemen or its forwards to just throw pucks on net because they're trying to not allow odd man rushes the other way. But, that can get agonizing at points. And
Oh,
last
yeah.
night, the Pullock shot that turned into the Nelson goal, that was more out of necessity because there was a Washington player bearing down on Pullock, and the only option was just to throw it into the zone wherever he could. And it just so happened that there was a lane to the net, throws it towards the net, and it ends up being a goal on the rebound. But Ryan Pullock, this poor man, can't score. He hit a post as well. He got stopped on a bunch of real big chances. I'm thinking for Pullock, if I'm him, I'm not even thinking about it. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I would be in the exact
that's
same.
easier said than done, for
Yeah.
sure. Like, obviously, that's something that probably would get in somebody's head. Like, oh my God, I can't score. But, and I'm sure Barry is saying this, like, guess what? Your job isn't to score. And by the way, like, luck plays into this a lot. Like, it just happens sometimes. Like, and this is just one of those years. It's just not going for him. But guess what? The 3 previous years, he's been like close to 10 goals like every year. So, if I'm him, I take nothing out of this. I know it's frustrating. I take nothing out of it. He's playing a good defensive game. That's his job.
Yeah,
So,
I completely agree. It is interesting. I will say something that Varley said in the post game after the Tuesday Washington game, the 1-0 victory. He was, I think it was Shannon or somebody asked him the question, like, at what point basically do you start thinking this is going to be a shutout? And he's like, oh, like, never. You don't want that thought to cross your mind until it's like kind of getting close to the end of the third. He's like, otherwise, you're gonna make a mistake. And like, if I would be the worst goalie, dude, it would be like the end of the first. I wouldn't allow a goal. I'd be like, it's gonna be a shutout. Like, we
guys,
got
I'm
this.
on pace. I'm on pace for it. And they're like,
Yeah,
shut up.
exactly. So I don't know if that's. I don't think that's superstition. I just think that's you don't want to get in your own head. And, you know, and so I would guess that a lot of athletes are probably, hopefully, mentally disciplined enough like that. So I would think Polak would probably, hopefully, be in the same boat where he's like, I'm not going to worry about the goal, like you were saying. Like it's not that it's not for lack of trying. It's and it's not taking away from his really good defensive game. So
yeah. And I
like
think
next thing we know, if he starts worrying about getting a goal, it's like then that's what's going to cause the odd man rushes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in hockey they do a really good job of that generally of not showing Even
Like
if
not
they
flinching,
are thinking
not
about
choking.
it, they do a really good job of keeping a poker face when it comes to like how they actually feel, which makes for bad interviews, but good mental discipline, I guess. All right, here's the bigger stat, and a stat that probably tells me who I'm going to pick to win the Stanley Cup. But also for the Islanders, shots against per game. The Islanders allow the second least shots per game
Wow.
at only 27.4.
That's wait a second. But how many shots? And they get 29 per game. 29 shots.
Yeah, so the Isles get 29.54. They've got like they average 2 more shots than they allow.
That's interesting. I wonder if the spread between those two things is important, allowed versus in general for a team.
They don't have it as a stat, but I'm sure because I remember years where the Islanders' shot differential was horrible. So and look, number one, and this is part of the reason I said I think this is a good stat to look at, for picking teams in the playoffs. The Colorado Avalanche are number one in shots for, right? I just said that. They're 35.4 shots per game for. Shots against, they're the best. They only allow 25.2. So there's a good argument to make that the Avs, who only
it's going to be the Avs and the Islanders in the Stanley Cup Finals, and Taves is not going to get his Stanley Cup. All right, he should have stayed.
So so there's a really good argument to make that just across the board, the Colorado Avalanche, who are first in goals for, second in goals against. Yep. Their power play is a little lower than I would think. 10. Their penalty kill
their power play is
10th.
Oh, yep. I was thinking it's 10%.
The Avs penalty kill is second at 86%. So they're like top of the league in like every category.
That's insane.
And
that's insane, dude.
By the way, to only allow 25 shots per game is unbelievable. And it's funny with the Avs. I haven't gotten to watch a ton of them this year. I feel like everybody's got really insulated watching their own division because you're not playing anybody else. And nobody, if you're working or whatever, you don't have time to just miscellaneously watch a ton of other divisions. I've been able to watch a little bit, but the Avs, I wonder with them if because they're so talented offensively, and they have a lot of talent on the blue line too, but I'm wondering if their offense is their defense, although their goaltending's been really good too.
Dude, wait, I was just going to point out their goaltending. So they have Grubauer and Johansson.
Yeah, so Grubauer's been really playing good
every game, dude. He's played all but 2 games, and I think he only played one of the games he played some of. His goals against is 1.83.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
That's insane, dude. For playing 32 games.
Yeah. But by the way,
I can't believe that.
Really important point that you just brought up.
He has 5 shutouts.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Here's a really important part of what you just brought up, and this is what scares me. So, obviously, I just made the case on why the Avs probably should win the Cup. The case against, maybe they've overworked Grubauer. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
A goalie getting overworked in the regular season. And for Washington, the year they won the Stanley Cup in 2018, they overworked Holtby to an extent. From what I remember. And so, but maybe it was just that he wasn't playing well.
Mm-hmm.
That they were able to fall back and start Grubauer, who was their backup at that time. That's a funny coincidence.
Wow.
But they were able to fall back on Grubauer and start him in the playoffs over Holtby. And he actually didn't play that well, Grubauer, so they switched back to Holtby and they ended up going on and winning the Cup. But I wonder in Grubauer's position, Grubauer doesn't have that backup goalie to fall back on.
I mean,
Grubauer was an excellent backup at that time and now is an excellent starter. But they had Holtby to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the tandem thing about the Islanders gets me to think that they're in a really good spot because, hypothetically, Varamov's not playing well. Oh, well, we'll go to Greiss, last year. This year,
right.
Oh, well, we'll go to Sorokin. And you don't feel like there's a gigantic drop-off. There's a gigantic drop-off in Colorado.
Why? But he's only played, but Johansson's only played 2 games, though. I don't.
Yeah, so
is he just
Johansson, they just
whatever.
Acquired him from Buffalo, so good for Johansson and escaping Buffalo.
Yes.
But he also has not been very good this year in general. To be fair, nobody's been good in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So maybe just getting out of Buffalo will help. But they had another goalie starting games named Hunter Miska, who wasn't great either. He's not really. So, like, the problem for Colorado this year, last year they had Pavel Francouz. You probably remember from me trying to pronounce his name.
I do.
That's
funny.
I joked last year.
It's funny that you mentioned. I remember a lot of things based on either we can't pronounce them or whatever.
Yeah.
D. Gilbert is on the Colorado Avalanche, and that was like a thing from last year. You were like, "Who's D. Gilbert? He scored on the Islanders." You know, like I don't even know your first name, Dennis Gilbert. That's who it is. And he's a lot of interesting things coming together with the Avs. You know, making me worried now. But anyway,
the Islanders give up a lot of first career goals, so I'm not surprised. But what I was getting to on the Avs front is, well, first of all, they'll probably be trying to trade for a backup goalie. I know they already have.
So. Yeah.
They already have with Johansson, but they gave away basically nothing. I am interested in the fact that, so last year, like I said, Francouz, I joked about, like, who's this Francouz guy? Mm-hmm. What are they going to do when they don't have Grubauer? And Francouz was excellent. He was amazing as a backup. And this year, he hasn't played a game. He's been hurt the whole year.
Oof.
And so, man, I think a lot. It's so funny. This is what hockey is like come playoff time, but they could be the best team in the league. They could have the best players. They could have Devon Toews, who's also the best player ever. They could have, Nathan MacKinnon, who's one of the top 5 best players in the league. And they could lose because maybe Grubauer gets hurt and then they don't have a backup goalie. And they get a lot of goals. But even in that scenario, currently they would play Minnesota in the first round. Actually, that would be a decent series. But if the Avalanche win the division,
they would currently play Arizona.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I know it was tight between them and Vegas. Yeah, they would annihilate Arizona. They did it they played Arizona in the playoffs last year. And I think it would just be a replay of that, which was Arizona, who's a team that's shown some fight this year. But they did last year too, and the Avs just swept them aside. The Avs offense was just way too much. Because Arizona's been good in goal the last couple of years, but nobody can make 50 saves a game for 7 games.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He was like the only game in that series that Arizona won, like he made like 50 saves. So
damn.
You're not going to win a series like that.
But all right. That is interesting. So we're sizing up our opponent, the Colorado Avalanche, who we will play.
We're getting way ahead of ourselves.
yeah, exactly. We have to get. Not only do we have to get to the playoffs, we have to get through the playoffs.
Yep.
So, yeah. But a lot of things are looking up for the Islanders. I think that that it's exciting to be able to confidently talk about, that we think we'll have a good playoff run and hopefully get to the Cup.
Mm-hmm. So and we're also just coming off, beating some teams that we haven't. Yeah, we're beating some teams that we struggled with. That's a nice confidence booster too.
Definitely. Actually, wait. Let's right before we go. Do we know the record between the Flyers and us? Because we're 2-3 against the Washington Caps.
So against the Flyers, we've split the 6-game series.
Okay, that's not so bad. Then
I have to look at the individual games to know the exact record. I know each team has won 3 games.
Oh shoot! I didn't even realize it. So the Rangers officially passed the Flyers.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we were expecting that was going to happen, especially with the goal differential. Holy crap! The Rangers are plus 22. Flyers are minus 24.
Yeah. Well, a big part of that is that the Rangers beat the Flyers 9-0 and 8-3. So a lot of that destruction came, self-inflicted for the
that is true
for the Flyers.
So yeah, I'm not too worried about the Flyers at the moment, but we'll see. We got 2 more games, I guess.
I don't think they're a good team. I think
No, tell me what you really think, Tom.
Well, I think it's really tough when you have no defense and no goaltending to make the playoffs.
But you got the good offense, maybe.
Yeah, you got a decent offense. So the Isles, the Islanders are 3-1-2, so they've only lost in regulation once.
Okay,
to Philly,
that's not
and
bad,
that was the 4-3.
Oh, that's right. The first 2 games we played against, so that's right. They both went to overtime.
Yeah. So the Islanders' record against Philly, actually, that's the funny thing about the loser point in hockey. You could spin it normally you would say, oh, they're 3-3. In hockey, you could go, no, they've only lost once in regulation, so they have points in 5 of 6.
Which I think is the only thing that the Capitals are ahead of us on is regulation wins.
Yeah,
right?
I think we have 3 shootout wins.
Regulation. Oh, so it's regulation plus overtime wins.
Yeah,
they have
so
one more of those.
I feel like it'd be easier if they just said non-shootout wins. Or, no, sorry, other way around. If they were like, actually, you know what? They have it right. I'm an idiot. I was trying to see if that was like more efficient, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
Less words, but whatever. All right. Anything else you want to add before we go?
Just that we got the Rangers coming up.
Oh yeah, let's look at the upcoming schedule really quick.
We got by the way 5 games left against the Rangers, and that's
and of course they're heating up, as always happens.
Yeah, so what worries me a little bit, their defense has been better this year, so they're not the meme of last year, which was that they'd win every game like 6-5. And it's funny because this is coming off a night where they won 8-4 against Pittsburgh last night. But their defending generally has been a lot better, and Adam Fox is a big part of that. And so I'm of our remaining games, I might be the most nervous about the Ranger games. And that is partly I'm always nervous about Ranger games, even if they're not good.
Because they're humiliating if you lose no matter what.
Yeah.
So.
We have a stretch where we play Washington 3 times in a row in late April. And I am less worried about I'm worried. Right, I'm like fairly worried about those. I would say
that'll be the last 3 Washington games.
Yeah.
Because in May, it only goes to the middle of May, the regular season schedule. So
the end of our schedule gets kind of easy. So
2 against Buffalo, 2 against Jersey, and then 1 against Boston. I guess that was the game that was postponed.
Yeah. So basically, I'm just looking at the rest of the month. The rest of this month is going to be the real test for the Islanders. Although I keep saying that.
I was just going to say, I think we say that every week. This week is going to really test the Islanders, the same as the previous weeks.
So maybe to be more specific, this will be a test of their play against mostly good teams, and also really like scorching. Like when the Rangers are hot, they're scalding hot. Mm-hmm. There's like no in between for the Rangers. They're either horrible or they're the best team ever. Mm-hmm. And currently they are the best team ever, and we're going to be playing them pretty soon. And so I would just say those games are huge in terms of, first of all, if we want to, in a petty way, just knock the Rangers out, we could do that.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games against the Rangers left.
Yeah.
4 of them are at home.
Yeah, so that's definitely really helpful.
So we'll see. Interesting.
All right.
I guess a weird takeaway to that would be we are worried. If you're worried most about the Rangers, we had like maybe the away games earlier in the season against them, which might have helped slightly, Yeah. And now we have the home games when they're hot, so that might help again slightly.
Yeah, similar thing to Washington, like you brought up earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And so if there's anything to take away from this, it's that I'm glad we don't have any more games against Pittsburgh.
Yes. Oh, big time. Yeah.
I can enjoy the rest of the season.
Although, you got to circle May 3rd and May 4th. The Buffalo Sabres have been decent.
They're on a 3-game winning or a 2-game winning streak.
They're on a
3-game not losing streak.
I think they're on a point streak because they beat. I think they've won 2, and I think they have a 4-game point streak because they lost in OT to the Rangers and beat. I think they've won 3 out of 4
against the Rangers. The last 4.
Yeah, 3 of their last 4. I think they've won, and they beat the Rangers in one of them, and they got points out of both Ranger games.
Let's see. How do I? Oh, I hate this website. All right, whatever. I was gonna just try and click on Buffalo to go to their stats, but it's too hard. It's too difficult. All right, so I think that's it then.
Yeah,
and we will. Hang on, can I get back to the schedule? Yes. We'll see how this week goes. Stay tuned for the recaps that Tom will be putting out. And then we'll see you guys again with the same type of video. Hopefully it's not an hour and 20 minutes long. On next Thursday. Tom, you want to close it out?
Thank you all for watching. Please get us to 200 subs and then immediately unfollow.
Okay. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. All right.